There is a quiet prison that many people live in without realizing it. It has no walls, no bars, no guards, and yet it controls their decisions, their mood, their confidence, even their identity. The prison is this: what will they think? What will they think if I fail? What will they think if I speak up? What will they think if I change? What will they think if I choose a different path? So many lives are shaped not by conviction, but by imagined reactions. And here is the hard truth. Most of the time, the people you are worried about are not thinking about you at all. They are thinking about themselves. Just like you. There was once a man who held extraordinary power. He led armies. He carried the weight of a vast empire. Every word he spoke could ripple across nations. Every decision could change lives. He understood something that most people never fully grasp. Fame is noise. Criticism is noise. Praise is noise. And noise is temporary. He trained himself to see opinions as passing winds, not permanent realities. He knew that if he built his identity on what others thought, he would never be steady. And neither will you. If your confidence rises and falls with public approval, you are handing strangers the steering wheel of your life. If one insult can ruin your day, then your peace is fragile. If one compliment can inflate your ego, then your stability is unstable. You cannot be truly free while you are emotionally dependent on other people's reactions. Let that settle. You cannot be free if you need to be liked. You cannot be steady if you need to be admired. You cannot be authentic if you are constantly performing. The desire to be accepted is natural. We are human. But when the desire becomes a dependency, it begins to distort your choices. You stop speaking honestly. You stop taking risks. You stop pursuing meaningful work. You start shaping your personality to fit expectations. You become a reflection of the crowd instead of a person with conviction. And that is exhausting. Have you ever noticed how much energy is spent managing image? Replaying conversations in your mind, wondering if you sounded foolish, analyzing facial expressions, trying to decode silence, posting something and checking repeatedly for reactions. It drains you. Why? Because you're trying to control something you cannot control. You cannot control what people think. Even if you act perfectly, someone will misunderstand you. Even if you speak carefully, someone will criticize you. Even if you succeed, someone will resent you. Even if you fail, someone will judge you. Opinion is not something you can manage. It is something you must release. Freedom begins when you accept that being misunderstood is part of life. Read that again. Being misunderstood is not a failure. It is inevitable. The more visible you become, the more misunderstood you will be. The more you step into your purpose, the more opinions will follow. The question is not whether people will talk. The question is whether you will allow their talk to control you. There is a difference between learning from feedback and living for approval. Feedback can sharpen you. Approval can enslave you. If you depend on approval, you will bend constantly. You will adjust your values to fit comfort. You will silence your voice to avoid conflict. You will shrink to stay acceptable. But shrinking is not humility. Shrinking is fear. True humility does not come from insecurity. It comes from clarity. When you know who you are, you do not need constant affirmation. When you know what you value, you do not need universal agreement. Clarity reduces anxiety. Ask yourself, what do I actually stand for? What do I believe matters? What kind of person do I want to become? If you cannot answer those questions, you will chase approval because you have no internal compass. But when your values are clear, something shifts. Instead of asking, do they like me? You begin asking, did I act with integrity? Instead of asking, did they applaud? You begin asking, was I faithful to what I believe is right? This shift is powerful. It moves the center of gravity from outside you to inside you. And that is where strength begins. Many people confuse not caring with arrogance. But there is difference between arrogance and inner independence. Arrogance says, I am superior. Inner independence says, I do not need your approval to remain steady. Arrogance rejects all input. Inner independence evaluates input without being ruled by it. You can listen without surrendering your peace. You can consider criticism without collapsing. You can receive praise without becoming inflated. This is emotional discipline. Imagine living a life where criticism does not shatter you, where praise does not define you, where social media reactions do not dictate your mood, where silence does not create panic. That is freedom. But freedom requires training. You must practice separating your identity from opinion. When someone criticizes you, pause. Ask yourself, is there truth here? If yes, adjust calmly. If no, release it. Not every opinion deserves residence in your mind. Your mind is valuable territory. Guard it. If someone praises you, pause. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? If yes, receive it with gratitude. If not, do not let it inflate you. Because praise can trap you just as much as criticism. When you become addicted to praise, you will start chasing it. And once you start chasing praise, you become a performer instead of a person. Performance is fragile. Character is durable. Character does not change depending on the audience. Character remains steady in private and public. There is deep power in indifference. Not indifference to people, but indifference to shallow opinion. You can care about people deeply without caring about their judgment. You can love others without being controlled by their approval. You can serve without seeking applause. This is quiet strength. Quiet strength does not announce itself. It does not argue constantly. It does not seek validation. It simply acts in alignment with conviction. Think about how much time is lost worrying about reputation, years of hesitation, opportunities missed, words unspoken, all because of fear of judgment. But consider this, the people whose opinions you fear most are also afraid of someone else's opinion. Everyone is navigating insecurity. Why allow insecure voices to define your direction? You are not responsible for managing everyone's perception of you. You are responsible for managing your character. And character is built internally. It is shaped by self-reflection. It is strengthened by self-governance. It is refined by discomfort. When you stop caring about what people think, you begin to see more clearly. You see how temporary praise is. You see how forgettable criticism is. You see how quickly people move on. And you realize something freeing. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to analyze you deeply. The spotlight you imagine is often smaller than you think. So why live under imaginary pressure? Instead of asking, how am I perceived? Ask, am I acting with integrity? Instead of asking, do they approve? Ask, did I respond with dignity? Dignity is calm self-respect. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. It is steady. When you are rooted in dignity, opinions lose power. Someone calls you arrogant. You examine yourself calmly. If you were acting arrogantly, you adjust. If not, you remain steady. Someone calls you weak. You ask yourself whether you acted according to your values. If yes, you move on. You do not need to defend your existence constantly. Constant defense is a sign of insecurity. Calm steadiness is a sign of clarity. You cannot control how others interpret your life, but you can control how you live it. Freedom of indifference does not mean isolation. It means inner sovereignty. You govern your own mind. You decide what thoughts stay. You decide what judgments matter. You decide whose voice carries weight. This requires discipline, because ego will always want validation. It will crave recognition. It will fear rejection. But ego is not your leader. It is just a voice. You can acknowledge it without obeying it. Practice this. When you feel the urge to impress, pause. When you feel the sting of criticism, breathe. When you feel overlooked, reflect. Ask yourself, why does this bother me? Often the answer reveals attachment. Attachment to image. Attachment to reputation. Attachment to status. Detach gently. Remind yourself, I cannot control their thoughts. I can control my response. I cannot control their approval. I can control my integrity. That is enough. When you stop caring what people think, you become more courageous. You speak more honestly. You take more meaningful risks. You pursue work that matters instead of work that impresses. You become less dramatic and more focused. You waste less energy. And energy is precious. Imagine redirecting all the energy you spend worrying about perception into self-improvement, into discipline, into growth, into service. The shift would be enormous. Many people delay growth because they fear looking foolish. But everyone looks foolish while learning. Many people avoid starting because they fear criticism. But criticism is inevitable. Many people remain silent because they fear disagreement. But disagreement is natural. You cannot build a meaningful life without stepping into misunderstanding. So stop waiting for universal approval. It will never come. Even the wisest leaders in history were criticized. Even the most disciplined individuals were mocked. Even the most courageous voices were opposed. Opinion is not a reliable measure of truth. Time often reveals what noise hides. But even if time never clarifies it, your responsibility remains the same. Act with integrity. Respond with calm. Stay aligned with your values. And release the rest. You do not need to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not need to correct every false assumption. You do not need to defend yourself to everyone. Silence can be powerful. Silence can be mature. Silence can protect your peace. Not every misunderstanding requires your energy. Save your energy for growth. Save your energy for meaningful work. Save your energy for discipline. The more grounded you become internally, the less external opinion can disturb you. This is not emotional numbness. It is emotional mastery. You still feel. You still care. But you are not ruled. In the end, your life will not be defined by how many people approved of you. It will be defined by who you became. Did you live with integrity? Did you act with courage? Did you grow in discipline? Did you treat others with dignity? These questions matter more than reputation. Reputation fluctuates. Character remains. As you move forward, choose inner independence. Let people misunderstand you. Let them disagree. Let them talk. You focus on becoming stronger. You focus on governing your mind. You focus on refining your character. The world may remain loud. Opinions may remain constant. But you can remain steady, free, untouched by shallow judgment, anchored in clarity, living not for applause, not for approval, but for integrity. That is freedom. And it is available to you. Right now, sit on the throne of your own mind. Guard it carefully. Act deliberately. Release what you cannot control. And walk forward with calm confidence. Not because everyone approves, but because you no longer need them to.